Hey everybody, welcome on in. It's ClayShare Live. I am Jessica Putnam-Phillips and we are wrapping up the month of September with Paula McCoy joining us again from Colors for Earth. So she's going to have this fabulous tutorial for you where she's going to show you how to make a rustic olive plate. Of course, you can adapt this design to mugs and other things, and she has done so many great tutorials with us for this month. And if you don't know about Paula McCoy, you need to check out her website, Colors for Earth. Also follow her on Facebook. She does weekly live broadcasts, usually every week, and she also does really great workshops and demos and presentations at conferences and conventions, so you've got to follow her. And I want to remind you all that you need to go to clayshare.com and sign up for our emails. Now, if you haven't done it yet, okay, you will not win tonight's prizes, but you can win the next bunch of prizes we have. So go to clayshare.com, you sign up for our email list, and that's how you are entered. Tonight we are giving away, I had to write it down, we have so many things. Paula is giving away a Sumi brush set. She's giving away a $50 gift certificate. That is $70 for international folks to help offset the shipping and everything. A ClayShare, oh my gosh, this is ClayShare stroke kit, a ClayShare brush kit, and the blue and white flower plate that she did the demo of. So you can actually win one of Paula's pieces. Now, Paula's also offering 10% off at her website, Colors for Earth, with the code CS92023. Now, premium members, you all know you get an extra discount, and that code has been shared with you all. Plus, premium members of ClayShare do not have to enter the giveaways. You're automatically entered always. All right, so I have a little ClayShare business, but I'll share that at the end when we announce the winners. And I will be doing the primetime broadcast for premium members directly after this at 6:15 usually. And we're gonna be doing watercolor pottery. That's here where I do the inlay color with my Mishima. And I'll be using the Colors for Earth, but we'll talk about that a little more later. So let's go on down to Texas and see how Paula's doing and learn how to make a rustic olive plate. I guess I should remind everybody.
All right, today we're going to paint this olive design. So what you do is you take a piece of tissue paper, lay it on top of your pattern, trace over it with a pencil, and then to get it onto your piece, lay it onto your, this one being a round, I cut some darts in it. Just to make it so it would lay down easier. Take the Statler Tri-Plus fine liner, you can see that, and trace over it. This is on earthenware. If you're on stoneware or porcelain, you can use the ultra fine point Sharpie marker. This has a point to it just like a Sharpie, but it's water-based. So you trace over it very slowly, peek and see if it's come through, which it did. You can also take this marker and draw directly onto the ware if you wanted to do a freehand design. Okay, it burns off in the kiln. So I've got kind of a broken brick area up here, and then we've got some background, and then I've got some scroll work, olives, and leaves. So what I'm going to do is put in kind of a watercolor mottled background in the background area. I'm going to use CS606 Parchment, and I'm going to use CS682 Natural. Always shake your colors. The color strokes are a opaque underglaze. I'm going to put some of that out. And what I'm going to do is create a wash out of these. So I'm going to put water in another well next to it. And we have a very small area, so it won't take much. And then I like to use my Sumi brush. This is the medium Sumi brush. It's a natural hair. Always start with the light color and work to your dark. So I'm taking a healthy scoop or a generous scoop, 2 scoops into that water. Make sure you get it well mixed up. Remember that when you're making a wash, the color falls to the bottom, so you need to keep that stirred up as you're working so that all of your color doesn't end up in the bottom and you're not picking it up. So stir it each time. So I'm just going to kind of mush. I call it my slip slap mush. I'm not really worried if I get it on my leaves or olives, but if you're trying to stay off of it, you could also put this on all over and then come back and put your pattern on when it's dry. That would be another way. Just remember that when you do add moisture to the watercolor marker, whether it be paint or water, it is going to start bleeding or disappearing. So keep that in mind. You can always retrace, or like I said, you could do this first and then put your pattern on. You still will be able to see some of the design or the transfer. So I'm just going to kind of take the tip of it and get it into the areas where I want it in that background. You can always come back afterwards if you miss something also. Keep it stirred up. It needs to be here. Okay, that's up there. There we go. You can also put this on the back of your piece. Since I've got a whole bunch mixed up here, I think that's what I'll do. So when you're doing your mush, I call it slip slap mush, I'm constantly keeping the brush in contact with the piece. The only time I lift it is when I'm getting ready to load again. If you were on stoneware or porcelain, you would wax your foot of your piece. There is a tiny amount of frit in this color stroke formula, so you don't want it touching your shelf because it could cause it to stick. All right, so now I'm going to go into the natural, the 682. I'm going to try 1 scoop to start with to see if I can see it, which I can. And I'm just going to kind of randomly place this. I'm not going to do it all over. Just to give it kind of a mottled look. If you have an area that you don't like or you think it's too strong, then rinse your brush and come back and soften the edges of that area to make it blend into what you've currently got there. Okay, so we can just go in here and randomly add some of that color. You can always come back and add more at the end. Once again, blend it if you feel like you've got an area that you need to do that. Okay. All right, so it's just kind of mottled or stucco kind of a look. These are bricks up here, so we're going to use some reds, browns, some golden brown, but I want there to be a grout, like a kind of a dirty gray, so I'm going to use the Vellum gray. Oops. And I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg to it, 181. That was 103 Vellum gray. 2 parts gray to like 1 part of the nutmeg. Okay, and then we need the liner brush. You can use the 3600 number 2. And I'm just gonna, I grab some water, I'm just gonna thin it as I go. And I'm not gonna make this kind of perfect. I'm just gonna kind of wiggle it. Irregular. So I'm just taking water and pushing that off of the olives there. Okay, so I'm going to take the small Sumi brush and I'm going to put a little bit of this gray in some areas, but what I'm going to also do is take some of the CSP01 gloss medium and I'm going to put it in a well so that I can just kind of tap my brush into it. So I'm going to load with that gloss, tip into that gray and nutmeg mix, and I'm going to just create some shadows. The gloss will keep it kind of a watercolory look. Constantly touching into the gloss and then back into the color. Alright, so that just creates some shadows. And then I want to take 124 which is yellow ochre, and I want to 186 burnt sienna, and we'll grab some 187 raw umber, and some 111 red geranium. I am also going to put the gloss medium into those colors, like a half and half. Mix with the handle of your brush instead of the hairs. You will waste less product, because if you mix with the hairs, then you got to rinse each color out of your brush. So you won't waste as much doing this. Okay, so we're going to put all of these colors on those bricks. We are going to keep some of the gloss medium into the brush and then pick up each color and just determine where you want to apply that. And as I'm going to put it over the gray even, just because I want that to kind of be set back more in the background. So every time I'm picking up the gloss and the color, now I'm going to rinse. And with water, I'm going to kind of soften that edge of that gray. That one was a little strong. All right, so then I'm going to go back to the gloss. I'm going to tip into the red. And see how I'm just patting and blending. That kind of, I'm going to sneeze. Oh. And that red can come down over the top. Of your other colors, whatever it may be. And you may have a particular brick photo that you want to look at and try to replicate. Like I said, we're going to go back over. Rinse my brush, and I'm going to kind of soften that edge. Remember, multiple thin coats are better than one thick, heavy coat of anything. I'm going to put some more of the gloss medium out. I'm going to load with it. And this time I'm going to go into the 186 Burnt Sienna and kind of add some of that brown. Thinking I need to go at it from this direction. And I'm just kind of mushing that color. And it doesn't have to go all over. It can just be in a certain area. So maybe I want it on the bottom there. Because you've got the gloss medium in the brush and in the color, you can manipulate, and you have time that it stays open long enough that you can change, blend. Try to remember to tuck your color where you want it. So I'm tucking it on the side and I'm tucking it along the top. Okay. I'm going to rinse that and soften that edge there. Okay. Go back into the gloss. This time we're going into the 187 Raw Umber, which is the darker brown. And we're going to just add a little bit of that here and there, wherever you want it a little bit darker. I'm going to blot my brush out. I've got a lot of the gloss in there. And so this one I maybe want against this side. And then maybe we go up here. So the gloss medium, the keyword is medium. In the tool world, the word medium is an extender and opener. So the gloss medium keeps it open longer, the color, so that you can manipulate and work it and get what you want. Now, if you're on Stoneware or Porcelain, Cone 5, Cone 6, you only use it for spot glazing, which is kind of what we're doing here. You would never use it for a clear glaze. Okay. It's kind of cool. All right, so we also, I think I'll let it dry just a little bit and then come back with some more and then add some black on it also. And I may even, what I may do is just streak in some with the mop brush. Let's try the 187. So I'm just gonna put it just on the very tip and kind of wipe some of that out so it's very, can you see that? It's fuzzy, it's not got a nice edge at all. And you can kind of stroke that in from the edge. And it doesn't take much of it because you're just adding it on the top surface there. I think you can see the lines. And then I may go back and grab some of that red mix and do the same. With that. For our olives, they can be black, they can be greenish, they can have some purple in them. So let's do some 160 Key Lime. And I'm going to put out some 137 Bright Violet. And then we want to put out some 101 Cobalt Black. All right, and I do want to add a little bit of the medium to that, not as much as the other, so we'll say 2 parts color to 1 part medium. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of Nutmeg 181 to the green mix. So maybe 3 drops. So I've probably got a nickel size of the 60 and then just added 3 drops of that in there. I like that color. It's very olivey. Okay. All right, so we're going to take that green mix and I'm going to block in one coat of that green. So we're going to put a second coat of that green. This again is the small Sumi. See how I'm taking it from both ends? You want to keep those strokes as minimal as possible. So then with the green still in the brush, I'm going to tip into the purple. And I'm just going to kind of pat some of that along the bottom and one side. So this could be as strong as you want. If you wanted them all purple or the black. So like on this one, I can cover most of that. Whoops. Got out of my space, so I want to quickly take that off with just some water. Put that green back into the brush. So if you want it all over, you can. You can brush it on. So maybe have some one way and some another way, so they look different. And then I'm going to put the green in the brush, and I'm going to grab the black mix. The black is going to be extremely strong, so just a tiny bit on the brush. I'm going to do it on those that are underneath first, like it's a shadow. But then I'm going to pull that down. I'm also going to go back into some of that gloss medium, just to get it a little more thin on my brush. Grab another brush with some water. Have it handy in case I need to push anything off. Some gloss medium on it, and then tip into the green and a little bit of the black again. All right, I think I'm going to rinse, and then I'm going to grab the gloss medium. Then I'm going to grab the purple. Then a tiny touch of black. Let's see how that. And I may go back and put more purple. Alright, so let's go just in the purple now. And I'm going to layer that on top of the green just because it'll change the look of it. Okay, we'll just let that. So can you see you've got some greens in there, you've got some purples, you got the black, and we'll just let that dry and then do our leaves. Okay, so the leaves need to be kind of a grayish green. Which in the color strokes we have bright Oasis, it's CS667, that kind of olivey, which I made over here, so you could use that if you wanted. And then we have a grayish green color, which is Smokey, and these are old labels, so don't look at that. 663. This is a really, really old bottle. Tells you how long they last. That's 16 years old. Okay, and then we need a little bit darker, or even some of the brighter. I think I'm going to go with the CC164 Mountain Pine. So it is a darker green per se. If you didn't have the color strokes, you could use 163 Shadow Green. So key is 6363, so same pigments, just different base. So you could do that also. And I'm going to put a little bit of the gloss medium into that 64 Mountain Pine to basically turn it into a color stroke. But it's going to have more intense color. I'm going to switch to a round brush. This is the 2004 KB, meaning Kolinsky blend. Always wet your brushes, blot them. And then what I'm going to do is pretty much just pick up all the greens at the same time. You could use the Sumi brush if you wanted. It's just not going to give you the nice fine point that you can get with the round. So I'm going to fully load in the 667 Bright Oasis, grab a little bit of that 63, and even a little bit of the, Mountain Pine. And actually I'm going to do one on the back just to see if I like this look. Press, pull, 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 and come to a point. Dip, side load. I'm going to do another stroke right down the side of that. Alright, I'm thinking I need something just a hair darker. So I'm going to grab some Hunter Green, CC165. The darker the green, the thicker they are. Same with your browns. So I'm going to add the gloss medium to that. Alright, so if I had a little bit of that, and then I grabbed the darker, I kind of like that look better. And I'm not going to rinse. I'm just going to tip and go. Okay. All right. So I just stuck my finger in it. Not too bad. All right. So load in the 67, 667. Grab a little bit of that gray-green, which is the 663, a little bit of the mountain pine, and go into a touch of that hunter. And if you press all the way down, you can fan it out and get a fairly large leaf. But if you need to come back with a second coat or one to the side of it, you can do that. You can even come back and add the darker one later if you needed to. So I can grab some of that dark and kind of just run it along that side. Press, pull, lift, lift, lift to a point. Just going to grab what's there on my brush and bring that in. See how it just kind of variegates those colors. Now maybe I don't want the gray on one of them. I just want some of the greens. Or maybe you want the bright Oasis and a little touch of the hunter. I kind of like that combination. So that you have a little variation in the colors. This one's coming from the stem this way. I haven't went back on that gray, so I'm going to grab some of it for one of these, just so that it's... And I do have a chip in my plate. I didn't notice it till I already had some of this going, so... So as you can see, I've got way too much color out here. It goes a long ways. Okay, so it doesn't take much. All right, let's go back up here and sneak this one in here. We've got the scroll work, which I think I'm going to be black, and I may tip into some of the that gray mix, or the gray 663 gray, smoky gray. Or maybe let's put that on our brush. This is the 5150 number 1 liner, any long script liner, and I'm going to drag through so I have some of that black on my brush. The big one here you're going to have to do in a couple of different strokes. Not even I can get that one. So I'm going to start it back here again. So what that gray-green does is kind of gives you the illusion of like a wrought iron look to it. Remember, your pattern is a guide. Doesn't mean you have to do it exactly. I usually paint larger. So when you press down, you get thicker lines, lift up to curl it, and to get finer lines. Add some more black to that. Okay, we can do like the branches with the same combination just to keep it simple. So add some of that Smokey. You can even go into the brighter Oasis and a little touch of the black on there. This stem comes up here. And then with that one there. And by having all those colors on there, and the more pressure you put on the brush, you can get that variegated look. And we'll need a stem to that olive. We're going to come back and do some detailing. And no branch over there. Okay. Not too hard. All right, so if you wanted it, which I should have done it before I did my leaves, if you wanted the area up next to the bricks to have a shadow, you could do the medium Sumi and water load, drag off to a point, tip into the burnt sienna mix, and you can tuck it up next to there. Oops, wrong one, sorry. And you could add some of that for a little bit of a shadow. And that would be easier if you do it before you do your leaves. we add some more shadow in there. You could even do, you could put some brown on the leaves if you wanted to. It's really your choice. Or you can just take and create more of a turn back. So let's take that script liner, slightly thin some of that hunter, and we could come in here and add a few of those. So run it along the side and then curl it down. So start it on the edge, overlap it on top of what you've already got. So itty bitty line, more pressure, and then lift back up. So you want to do it on top of what you've got there. So since we need a little more separation here, I'm going to do it on that guy. It doesn't have to be on all of them, but that kind of gives you a nice change throughout the design. All right, then I'm going to go to the 3600 number 2 liner, and the black that we have out has the medium in it and other colors, so I'm going to get some new black. I also want to put a highlight on the olives, but before I do that, let's do like a 602, which is more of the opaque white. 602 white. So it's more opaque. That's why I'm using it. And I'm just gonna it's a thicker color, so it's harder to get fine. All right. I think before I do the black, I'm going to take thin down some of the 187 mix. Try this on a leaf. So that adds a little bit more brown into that. It kind of ties the brown from the bricks into the design. All right, so you can see the brown in there. Okay. Now we're going to thin down the black. And the first thing I want to do is I want to catch the edge of that wall. Give it kind of a broken type look. Real hit and miss. Okay. So I'm only going to do the center vein of the leaves, just because I don't want that much black on there. And we're going to accent these scrolls also, just to kind of reinforce. Not the whole thing. Well, I've got this in my brush, so I'm going to assign it, and then I can come back and add. I think I will use the stencil brush, and I'm going to grab and use the smaller one. This is the size 12. Okay, so it just gives it kind of a dirty. Kind of look. I like it. All right, so I need to put the edge on it. And I think I'm going to go with the bright Oasis. Got quite a bit of it out here. So, and the 1-inch foam brush. Remember, it's like a house, so your plate is only going to touch it on the roof, right in the center of it. The wheel is just to aid you in turning that piece so that you can get a nice even edge. Now I have that broken place here, so I'm going to have to kind of touch in there and make it work. So the wheel is just an aid in turning. Put a couple coats on, let it dry, and then come back and put a couple more. Sometimes you have to tap it right on that edge. This is on top of that brown that's on there, so I need a little help there. Okay, so I'll come back and do some of that. I want to mist it and show you what it looks like. There you go. All right, you need to put 2 coats of clear glaze. If you're earthenware, use the CSP01 NT Clear, 2 coats, and you will see your color through the glaze. And if you're on stoneware, you want to use Mako SW004 Zinc Free Clear. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the project, and happy painting.
Wow, that was an amazing plate tutorial. I hope you all make that rustic olive plate. I was watching Paula and I was thinking how amazing that design would be on a pitcher. And then if you make some goblets to go with it, so a pitcher for sangria maybe, and matching goblets, they would be so cute. Or if you wanted to make a little olive oil cruet you know, a little olive and vinegar set, something like that. And then you could just modify the design and make it work for whatever, you know, whether it's hand built or wheel thrown, it doesn't matter. You can adapt it for that. All right, so we're gonna go over to Paula and chat with her for just a few minutes, and then we'll come back to me and I'll do the giveaway. I know she wants to say a few things since it's the last time she's gonna be with us for this month. So let's go down and check in with Paula. Hey, Paula.
Hey there.
So glad to see you.
Yeah. Hopefully they enjoyed the projects this month, and a lot of different techniques. A lot of the techniques use the ClayShare brush set that I put together. So take advantage of that using your discounts. And on your color, we've had a lot of people that ordered. And because I put the patterns out with the list of color and brushes that are used on it, I think that helps so people could order ahead of time if they wanted. So, and we got some great giveaways to give away and even a finished plate. So, yeah. Yay.
No, a finished plate. So if folks that were asking, Paula, where can they get the pattern from? You can get it on your blog. Is that where?
Yeah, on the blog. If you just click on the blog, go to ceramic, and it says ClayShare Demos 9/2023. Everything is there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us this entire month. It has been a treat, as always. Hope you take some downtime now, rest a little bit. Of course, Paula's going to be back. Yeah,
with the leg injury. So
take a day or two, and of course you'll be back with us during ClayShare Con in February. So it'll be here before we know it, won't it?
Yes. Thank you so much, Jess, for the invitation.
Thank you, Paula. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
So remember all of Paula's tutorials from this month are available as replays. This one will be available in about an hour after we finish. So if you're joining in late and missed the beginning, you can watch this replay. This will always be available on ClayShare for free, so you can check this out at any time you want. Come back to it and watch it again as a refresher. And again, if you go to colorsforearth.com, you can see all of Paula's products, and you can check out her blog where she posts the patterns and all the materials for her demos and tutorials. All right, so I've got a list of, I have a bunch of cards over here off to the side for prizes. So we've got 5 prizes I'm gonna give away, which is an awful lot. Paula has been very generous doing giveaways this entire month long, and tonight is no exception. So remember, to enter our giveaways, you go to clayshare.com and sign up for our emails. You're not going to be in this list if you didn't sign up, I'm sorry. Unless you're a premium member, then you're automatically. But you can be in the next group of winners from our next giveaway, which will probably be next Wednesday when Michael Harbridge joins us for the month of October. So that's coming your way. All right, so the first prize we're giving away is the 4-piece Sumi set. And the winner of that is going to be Deborah Cohen. Deborah Cohen, congratulations. You're gonna get yourself the Sumi brush set. You're gonna love those brushes, they are amazing. The next prize we're giving away is that $50 gift certificate, but it's $70 for international folks because we know how expensive it is to ship things outside of the US. So you get to go to Colors for Earth and shop and pick out whatever you want. And the winner of that is Pam Pulley. So Pam, congratulations. You get yourself a gift certificate. I don't know where you are. It's either going to be $50 or $70, depending on where you are in the world. Now, I want to take a break for a second, share this with you. I took every one of Paula's color concentrates and I made a test plate. I just put the colors on. Now I'm going to put a clear glaze on top, and I'm going to fire this to cone 5, and this is on porcelain. So I'm really excited to see how this looks. I will share it when it comes out of the kiln. That'll be Friday. It'll be done, so you'll have to check back here on ClayShare. I'll put it on our social media and in our ClayShare Prime page as well. But these are all of Paula's color concentrates, and I'm really excited to see how they look on this plate. I did a mini one, some of you remember, a couple years ago, but this is all of them. So this, for those of you that do cone 5 and want to know what they look like, we'll have this for you. Now, Paula did one on Mako stoneware as well, so definitely want to check that out. Okay, so, and the reason I paused it, because the next prize is a ClayShare color stroke kit. So I wanted to share that before we got to this. All right, so the winner of that is April Flinta. April, congratulations. you got the ClayShare color kit. Woohoo! And the next prize we're giving away is the ClayShare brush kit. And that is Karen Slinger. Congratulations, Karen. We've got a brush set for you. Oh my gosh, so many great prizes, right? And then the last prize is a coveted piece of Paula's. So it's the blue and white flower plate that she did here live with us a few weeks ago. And she is giving that piece away. So you are getting a one-of-a-kind original. And the winner of that plate is Holly Goodman. Holly, congratulations. You are a very lucky duck because you are going to get one of Paula's plates. And it was actually painted here, you know, on ClayShare. So you can go back and watch and see how that plate was made. And then you can look at your plate and say, yep, I've got the original right here. So congratulations to all of our winners. The sad thing is the month's over and Paula is going to go, but if you want to get yourself some colors for Earth, you can do that anytime, but you can save 10% if you use the code CS92023. Premium members of ClayShare, you get an extra discount. Shh, don't tell. Or do tell. And I've shared that before, but we'll share it again in our private broadcast, which is coming up next. So you guys just wait to order to make sure you use your discount so you can save. Other ClayShare news we have, well, a few weeks ago, actually I think it was just last week, but since I was away, it feels like a long time. We had the Wheel Thrown Apple Baker class, or Apple Baking Dish, because I think Apple Bakers actually is a copyrighted name now. So it's the Apple Baking Dish, not Apple Baker Dish. Anyhow, that's up on ClayShare. That just came out, and that's everything from the throwing of it, the trimming of it, and the glazing and firing of it. So it's the whole thing. You can go watch that. And then we have a workshop coming up with Maria Sampson the end of October 21st and 28th. And that workshop is a sculptural workshop. So if you like making sculpture, you got to check her workshop out. It's part of her Whimsical Garden Stack series she's been doing with us. And then this weekend, what are you doing this weekend? Come to Vermont. It's Open Studio Weekend here. The whole state is doing it, but even better, ClayShare is doing it. So we are going to have our studios open to the public all day Saturday, all day Sunday. That's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come on up and see us. The fall color is amazing outside. It's going to be peak for color. The weather is going to be picture perfect. It's going to be like 70 degrees, sunny. You do not get this all the time, you know. Usually it rains during Open Studio Weekend. So if you haven't made plans and you're just a drive away, come on to the studio. We're going to have so much going on here. We're really excited to be opening up our doors to the brand new studio for folks to see. So if you're not doing anything this weekend, come to Vermont. Open invitation from all of us. All right, well, there we have it. Another fabulous broadcast. Huge thanks to Paula McCoy for being our special guest and for being our sponsor for this entire month of September. Next month, we'll have Michael Harbridge joining us from Learn Fired Arts. I'll be back in just, a couple minutes because I'm going to be doing watercolor pottery. I've got a bunch of pieces that have been bisque fired, and we're going to see how many I can get through in an hour. You guys can place your bets how many I can actually do. I'm saying 4, but we'll see. All right, everyone. Until next week when I'll see you all back here, be well, take care, and make great pots.